I think it's pretty obvious to say your quality of life has improved significantly. Is that fair to say?
Oh my goodness. This way of eating to me has been an absolute miracle. That's the only way I can describe it. You can't really even describe it to other people talking to them, because I think they think that I'm crazy or in dementia or something, because you can't explain to people how well they can feel. They just, until they feel it, they can't grasp it. But it is amazing. And my son had rosacea very bad. He's been on an actual antibiotic for probably 10 years to keep the rosacea under control, plus topical. He no longer takes the antibiotic, and he no longer does the topical. And he just has a little redness on his face, and that's all. My husband was on prescription for indigestion, prescription meds for acid reflux. He is now off of that. He has to take a ton occasionally. He's not 100%, but he's working on it. So and him, the same thing. He was on a statin also, and he quit. And for both of us, the brain fog improved. But once we started the carnivore, it just like escalated to feeling like I was 60 again or 55 or something. Having that brain fog lifted from us to where he was to the point of he was ready to give up riding his motorcycle because he didn't trust his judgment. And he just a couple of months ago come back from a motorcycle trip he took out west on his motorcycle. Every year he does that. And so he's been able to continue to do what he loves to do. So for my whole family, it's been a life-saving miracle.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear. And it's like I said, you're about the 5,000th person I've heard with something like that. I see this very commonly. So it's great to see. Let me just ask you a little bit of details about what does a diet look like for you? What does a week's worth of food look like for you typically?
For me, I will eat usually I don't eat till between 10 and 12. I always eat eggs. I usually eat like one egg and 2 egg yolks. I will have most of the time ground beef with that. Sometimes I have bacon because I could eat bacon all day long. Then I don't eat again until usually around 5. And it's basically beef. We eat a lot of ribeye. Sometimes short ribs, roast. Rarely ever. I lost my taste for chicken. We don't crave chicken. We don't crave pork that much. I don't eat seafood, but I do fix fresh seafood for my husband and my son. Sometimes I have boiled egg with that. Butter. Eat a lot of butter. I make my own beef bone broth, and we have a cup of that every night with our dinner. And that's pretty much it. And I stay very satisfied. Sometimes when it was time to eat, because my son's always wanting to eat, I'm not even that hungry, but I know I will be if I don't eat. So that's pretty much what I eat. Once in a while, if I have a fresh avocado, I'll eat a slice of that, but not too often.
Yeah. And so mostly just kind of beef and eggs, it sounds like, is most of the diet, a little bit of bacon in there as well. So how, as far as, are you going out of your way to eat only grass-finished beef, or are you just eating kind of stuff at the supermarket, or does it make a difference for you?
I do both. Sometimes if I can find a grass finished, I will, but if I don't worry about it. Yeah. I do both.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen. I've seen people be successful.
It's hard to find that.
And then, are you taking any additional supplements? Do you take, multivitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, anything that in addition to your diet?
The only thing I take is vitamin D 3, I think, in K2, it's an oil. And I do take CoQ10 for the fact of being on a statin so long. I've kind of read where that might be a good thing to do. So that's all that I take.
Okay. And you've been off the statin now for a couple of years, is that right?
Or well, going close to 2 years. Yeah, close to 2 years.
And then, I mean, of course, the inevitable question is, well, what's going on with your blood lipids, your cholesterol, and things like that? Has it gone up significantly since you switched?
No, my blood pressure is very normal. In fact, the last time she took it, I was so shocked. I asked her if the machine was working. I don't remember what it was, but it was down. I always had low blood pressure up until probably just 3-4 years ago. And the highest it ever got was, I don't remember the bottom number, but it was 160 on the top. And I really just tried to make myself work on that. And my blood pressure was back how it was when I was in my 40s. I feel my cholesterol numbers are good. They're all, and the tests are all below what they consider normal, except for my LDL, which was 3, I think a little over 3 something. And my doctor wasn't too happy about it, but when I left my other doctor because she didn't like what I was doing, I, made it understood to the new doctor, under no terms will I ever go back on a statin. So she tries to give me flack about it when I go in there, but I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not doing it. So your
LDL cholesterol, you said, is over 300 though. Is that?
Yeah, it was 320 something, I think, the last time I had blood work.
On LDL. So that's quite high. I mean, most people would say that's you're in the top 1% of LDL. So the question for me would be, given that, you were on a statin, and given that some people will say that LDL cholesterol is an increased risk for heart disease, and there's a lot of evidence that suggests that, although there's some people that debate that, would you ever go back, given your quality of life, to a low fat, statin lifestyle?
No.
Yeah. So
no, I absolutely would not. I would take the way I kind of feel. I'm 72 and I'm not going to live forever. And if I live 2 years healthy and happy, not being on a statin is better than living 5 years or 3 years or 4 years the way I did before, when I was on them and before I ate carnivore. So no, I have no plans to be back on a statin or change the way that I eat.
Yeah, and fair enough.
Sometimes when I get like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can eat any more beef. And then I remind myself of how far I've come. And so that makes the meat look much better.